Everyone thinks they want to be the main character until they realize the main character doesn't get to have a day off. Imagine walking onto a court. The sneakers are squeaking, the orange leather is hitting the hardwood, and for everyone else in that gym, it's a release, it's fun, it's the best part of their day. But the second I step through those double doors, the air in the room changes. The conversations stop, the guys who were just laughing and joking suddenly tighten up. They aren't looking at me like a friend or even a teammate. They're looking at me like a final boss in a video game they've been practicing to beat for months. I'm going to tell you something that sounds incredibly ungrateful. Something that would make my middle school self want to punch me in the face. I secretly hate being the best basketball player in my city. And honestly, I spent 3 months last year pretending I had a chronic wrist injury just so I wouldn't have to pick up a ball. If you've ever felt like your talent has become a cage, or if you've ever wondered why the person at the top looks so miserable, this is for you. Let's go back to when it was actually good. When I was 10, basketball was a cheat code for happiness. I wasn't the best, I was just a kid with a mismatched jersey and a layup that hit the bottom of the rim half the time. But back then, I could play for 6 hours and not feel a single ounce of pressure. If I missed a shot, nobody cared. If I lost a game, we still went for ice cream. There was this purity to it. But then I hit a growth spurt. I grew 6 inches in a single summer, and suddenly those awkward layups started turning into easy buckets. My coordination finally caught up to my limbs, and I became a problem. By the time I hit high school, I wasn't just good, I was the guy. And that is exactly where the nightmare started. You see, when you're the guy, you stop being a person and start being a benchmark. Every time I stepped onto a court for a casual pickup game, it was like I was walking into a title fight. People would travel from 2 towns over just to try and drop a bucket on me so they could tell their friends they cooked me. I couldn't just work on my handles or try out a new move. If I wasn't playing at 100% intensity, people would start whispering, "Did he get lazy? Is he washed? Look, he's not even that good." It's exhausting. You can't just have a bad day. If a normal person has a bad day, they just miss a few shots. If I have a bad day, it's a local headline. It's a blow to my entire identity. The joy of the game was slowly replaced by the fear of losing my status. I started playing not because I wanted to win, but because I was terrified of what it would mean if I lost. It turned my passion into a job, and the worst part was I wasn't even getting paid for it yet. But the pressure from the game wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was how it mutated my friendships. Think about your best friends. Now imagine if every time you hung out with them, they secretly wanted to prove they were better than you at the one thing you care about. I'd go to the park just to hang out, and within 5 minutes, my friends would be trying to bait me into a one-on-one. They didn't want to talk about the new movie that came out or what was going on at school. They wanted to see if they could cross me over. Every conversation eventually drifted back to my stats, my last game, or who I was playing next. I felt like a human trophy. People wanted to be near me because it made them look cool, but nobody actually wanted to know how I was doing. I was lonely in a room full of people screaming my name. I remember this one specific Saturday. I was feeling totally burnt out. I had just finished a grueling week of practice and my knees felt like they were filled with crushed glass. I just wanted to sit on my porch and do nothing. But then my phone started blowing up. There was this legendary run happening at the local rec center and everyone was texting me that some D1 transfer was there looking for me. They weren't asking if I wanted to play, they were telling me I had to show up to defend the home court. It felt like a summons to court, not an invitation to play a game. I went because the guilt of not going was worse than the pain in my knees. I played, I won, and everyone cheered. But as I walked to my car, I didn't feel a rush of adrenaline. I felt empty. I felt like I had just finished the shift at a factory. That was the night I decided to break my wrist. I didn't actually break it, I just bought a heavy-duty brace from the drugstore, wrapped it up, and told everyone I took a hard fall in the shower. The relief was instant. For the first time in 3 years, I could go to a game and just sit in the bleachers. I could eat a bag of chips, talk to a girl without her asking about my vertical, and actually watch the game for what it was, a game. I watched guys who were half as good as me having 10 times more fun because they were allowed to suck. They were allowed to mess up and laugh about it. I envied them so much.
I realized that being at the top is like standing on a narrow peak in a windstorm. Everyone below you is trying to pull you down, and the only way to stay up is to never stop straining every muscle in your body. But after 2 months of recovering from my fake injury, something weird happened. I started missing the ball. Not the crowds, not the rankings, and definitely not the defend the court text. I missed the way the ball felt when it left my fingertips perfectly. I missed the sound of a clean swish. I realized that I didn't hate basketball. I hated what people had turned basketball into for me. I had let other people's expectations become my internal compass. So I made a change. When I finally healed, I didn't go back to the high stakes runs. I started going to a court 3 neighborhoods over where nobody knew who I was. I wore a hoodie, kept my head down, and just played. I played with old guys who called me kid and didn't care about my highlights. I rediscovered the flow. I learned that it's okay to be the best, but you have to be the best for yourself, not for the audience. You have to build a wall between your talent and your worth as a human being. If you're the best at something, whether it's sports, gaming, art, or school, don't let the world turn your gift into a burden. You don't owe anyone a performance. You don't have to be on all the time. Sometimes the most elite thing you can do is walk away and play for the pure, stupid fun of it. Now, I'm back on my school team and the pressure is still there, but it doesn't touch me the same way. When the crowds start yelling, I don't hear them as much. I'm just listening for the sound of my own sneakers. I've reclaimed the game. If you've ever felt this kind of pressure, or if you've ever had to hide your talents just to get a moment of peace, drop a comment below and tell me your story. I actually read them, and it helps to know I'm not the only one who's felt like this. And hey, if you enjoyed this animation and want to see more stories about the weird side of being a teenager, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. It really helps the channel grow and lets me keep making these for you. Thanks for watching, and remember, you're more than just what you're good at.